Today's show is brought to you by Even Keel Fish Shack.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo, and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the frim fram sauce with the awesome fave, with shafafa on the side.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. It is a Wednesday. It's a rainy Wednesday, as you can see. Lubie is a little drenched. He went on an expedition. It's another home show. We're hoping to get back on the road tomorrow. But look, we've got four squares today. It's not just a troika. We've got the superfecta today, Defo. We've got one Carlos Frias. I could give him a big introduction. I could talk about how he's won not one, but two James Beard Awards, and that doesn't rankle me at all. It's okay. He's also a man about town. He's doing museum exhibits. He's doing voiceover work for the new Freedom Tower that is going to be opening to the public soon down in Miami. We've got Carlos Frias here, friend of the show. Welcome back. How are you, sir?
I'm glad to be here. Well, it's great to see you gentlemen all over again. And I'm happy to talk about some food and some culture and whatever else.
Culture in South Florida?
I mean, if we can't talk about sports, we got to talk about something else.
Yeah, no, it is a ugly. We did go sports heavy. Defo, how are you today? I understand you went to a happy hour last night. You're on the prowl for, I guess, you're going to be our official happy hour guide, right?
Well, I've been guided around by a seeing-eye dog of happy hours, my friend Jimmy from Boston, who is the king of all happy hours. But I would have to say, now this area has been under development. It's pretty much like Reno Sorbonne and Heritage, the Flagler district over there around Sunrise and Federal Highway. I guess they're calling it Old Town Pompano. I'm not sure what exactly the designation is, but they've been renovating this area for a while. It was, you would have to say, in a great line out of Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, you would go there and think, what a dump the entire area was. But done a great job of revitalizing it. They started by having some concerts, and they opened up some restaurants. They had some local breweries there. And I went to a place called The Vault last night. And I would have to say, in the spirit of Heritage, similar type of vibe in the way that the place was renovated, and it was very good. I have to give them a lot of credit. They had a ton of appetizers on the regular menu. There wasn't even a happy hour price that were extremely reasonable, all very tasty, and cocktails were $5 and $6.
Nice.
And you would have loved this. Both of the guys I was with, I'm not an old-fashioned guy, but they had old fashions. And one, my friend Jimmy is a kind of a connoisseur of these things, at least so he says, and he said it was as outstanding as any that he's ever had. They had the ice cube thing, where they get the
big
ice
cube,
big ball, and really a nice job. I have to applaud them. They did a great job. I would go back.
And I have to applaud you, Defo, because it seems like you've been getting out and about and exploring the food world and the local restaurants. And like you said, the happy hour is the new early bird, for no matter what age you are. It is the most reasonable way to go out and explore. And I'm glad that you're doing it. The Vault, I guess it is located in a former bank, and they actually kept the vault as part of the dining room, right? Did you sit in the vault?
No. I think from an atmospheric standpoint, they did a really nice job. Whatever it was before. It looked like this is a big upgrade for a lot of the Pompano type of places, which this was supposed to be.
And for
sleepy
those
fishing village, and they really upgraded a lot of places here. Revelry is one.
Yeah,
it's in a different area. But,
South is the new restaurant there. That's like a Southern kitchen from our friend Mike Linder. That has a beautiful outdoor area. It's right across the street from the Vault, and that's
the Vault was good. You would like it. I think it's.
I'll check it out, but. For our degenerate friends out there, because it's the Vault, did you either steal a freight train or able to get into any safe deposit boxes and find a couple of dollar bills for the Gulfstream show on Friday? Or
I could only wish. No, and then I topped it off with my usual Tuesday visit to the Tipperary pub, which most people would say I mean, you walk in there and you're thinking, why wasn't this building condemned? But they really do a great job there. They've
That's in
upgraded.
the Cove Shopping Plaza there
Yes.
in Deerfield Beach.
They've renovated their kitchen there. I didn't. We had already eaten, so I didn't have anything. But actually, one of the other guys ordered something there and thought it was outstanding. And of course, the music was top notch and can't beat the price. You walk in
Look
for
at
free.
you at
It's great.
74. He's hitting the town. He's putting me to shame, Carlos. It's really something. Hey, now, so before we get into the world of Carlos Frias, which has been a very exciting and multifaceted one lately, I do want to just kind of introduce what today's theme of the day, eating wise. Even though we're not at restaurants, we're still going to eat lunch on the lunchbox. And I gave Lubie a homework assignment because Jim Sarney, the madman who
I'm not happy
is
with Sarney at all.
pulling the levers, sent us a little, I guess, text about how Arby's, of all places, and I've seen the ads on TV.
Look at Carlos's face. Carlos has a straight face. They're smiling. You say the name Arby's, and his face turned
Arby's,
white.
they have the meats, but they've been promoting this limited time sandwich, the loaded Italian. So I said to Lubie, you go out. There's no Arby's near me. Very unfortunate. I would love to have tried an Arby's loaded Italian sub, but you were the guinea
loaded
pig.
Italian sounds like something from a noir movie. You know what I mean? Like
I was out with two loaded Italians last night.
There you go. There he
Thank
is.
God I was driving. I mean, which is an unusual thing that you would want to be behind a wheel.
Yeah, Lubie has a little saga, but for a comparison and taste test purposes, the control item, which will be going up against the Arby's loaded Italian, is your friend Gail and Harry's Laspada's
Oh my God,
Italian sub. I got the 12-incher. I went around the corner, 17th Street. They have a Laspada's, very convenient. Talk about efficiency. I got there at noon, which is right at the beginning of the lunch hour, and the line moves so fast, and they assemble these subs. Guess how much? First of all, this thing must weigh about 3 pounds. I'm going to open it up.
Should last you with the Ozempic 4 or 5 days.
4 or 5 meals at least.
Yeah.
Even if I split it with that.
Even without it, Carlos, normal people, it would last 3 or 4 days anyway.
Yeah, that's 3 meals.
You factor in the big O.
And I know how much Carlos likes sandwiches. He considers anything a sandwich, including if you put cheese on a Ritz cracker. He says that's a sandwich. He considers if you put another cracker on top. He considers an Oreo cookie a sandwich.
It's a dessert sandwich.
It's a
tiny little dessert sandwich.
I actually made 2 Hebrew National hot dogs for dinner last night for Val and I. We each had 2, and you consider those hot dogs a sandwich.
That's right. Hebrew hot dog beef sandwiches. There you go.
But meanwhile, I've got the La Spot. Guess how much this baby cost?
I'm gonna say
$11.50.
$15.
Oh, it's like 15.
$14, I believe, in 50 cents or 70 cents. All told, I got out of there. I got a bag of chips. I got my bag of the Zapp's Voodoo chips.
Oh yeah, they're gonna.
I got the sub. And I gave him a tip, $20 out the door. I'm very happy. I mean, and I gave him a $2 plus
tip. It's easily a meal for 2.
Oh yeah, it's good.
But
Carlos,
I guess that at
Carlos
2019
looks so
prices.
good. This is the question of the day. Lubie, did you notice that the guy looks great?
Yeah, he looks amazing.
You're having so much success, Carlos. I mean,
You know what? I'm eating healthfully. I'm exercising. I have good camera. I have good lighting.
He has great
helps.
lighting. He does. I'm jealous. I'm living with the lighting director, but I guess I'm just, I don't know how to use all the proper technical aspects here at this well-wired home that I am now living in. All right, Lubie, can you show us the loaded Italian? And can you talk about when people ask me about the best restaurants in South Florida?
Accident.
Uh-oh.
Here.
technical glitch.
He's going with buttons. Oh, there he goes. He's got that. Doesn't look very appetizing. Do you have it in
That
front of
brand
you?
is shriveled. Why
That's
is
the Arby's one.
Yeah,
That's a
the
low effort photo, Lubie. That's a low effort photo.
Yeah,
That's
how it looks?
But wait,
like,
don't you have it in front of you?
Please tell me you don't take a picture of your wife or girlfriend with that kind of mentality, because that's
I don't know what else to do. This is
Wait,
how it
get
looks.
rid of the picture. Can you pick? Let me see the sub in front of you now, and tell us the saga that Arby's can't even afford
Not
shelter
better.
coverings for the drive-through. That
trying
it
to
was
make
It
formed?
must be doing well though. I would say this because we always have the over/under bet when I drive by an
it
Arby's.
looks full.
I did it
looks-
yesterday where I went by an Arby's on Federal Highway in
It's full.
like Lighthouse Point, and we always bet how many cars will be in the drive-through, and the over/under number is always a half because there's never more than one car in the drive-through. And I was shocked. I mean, it was loaded. So this must be a very popular sandwich. There were at least 6 cars in the drive-thru.
Really?
Yeah.
It's the power
I've
of
never
marketing.
seen more than 2 or 3.
All right, Lubie, let us first of all tell us the saga. I guess you had a rough night. Shirley had a rough night. You didn't get much sleep, and now you're also soaking wet. What happened?
Yeah, it was interesting. I woke up at 1:30. I didn't wake up. I was poked at 1:30 in the morning.
I like getting poked.
Pregnant wife who was itching, and I don't even know what to do with that. So I just started itching. I was like sleeping.
You mean scratching? She was
No,
itching, and you
itching.
scratched.
Okay, I started scratching, but I
Yes.
was trying to.
You scratch and itch.
Her
You
legs
don't
were
itch or scratch.
There you go. Her legs were itching. So in the middle at 1 something in the morning, I'm scratching her legs for 30 minutes. And then she's in tears because she can't sleep. And she finds this.
Doesn't she have
remedy-
Benadryl or things
don't
that you
know.
could dab on?
She hasn't
her?
had this. We're in the last month and a half. She's never had this itching thing. This has never happened. So 1:30 in the morning, she doesn't wake me gently. It's always like a zets, we call it. Like she's like, well, it's like an electricity bolt mid sleep. And I'm like, what? And she's crying. I'm like, I don't.
Crying.
Sure. Yeah, because she couldn't sleep. I'm
it's
the one that
itchy.
doesn't sleep in this house. She sleeps like a champ. So she'd been trying to sleep for 2 hours. She couldn't fall asleep. So I just started scratching her legs profusely for 30 minutes. That didn't work. Then she found some remedy of vinegar. So I literally at 2:00 in the morning, I'm bathing my pregnant wife in vinegar. And finally, 30 minutes later, she falls asleep. So I'm on
Kind of like peppermint oil or what is it?
I don't care what the hell it was.
Perfect segue to the Italian sub is a little
Exactly.
vinegar. You know,
Yeah,
it's like,
that's
it smells
true.
like a salad in there
I
already.
have Italian and oil and vinegar on mine. So I'm barely any sleep as it is. And then Sarni with his fakata text. And I'm like, Sarni, I'm the one that's going to have to eat this thing. Why are you texting Mayo about this?
Because
No,
I assigned it to you as the producer. You went out, and then what happened? You got a
So I
pouring rain
go,
up there?
it starts pouring right when I'm leaving my house. I'm like, so I walk in the rain to the car. I go to Arby's. I'm like, whatever, I'll do the drive-through. Where you order, the overhang is smaller than the car. So I'm like, the mechanics of that don't make any sense. Like, why would it be smaller than the car? Why even have it? Like, just don't have it there. Just say, look, we don't care about you. You're going to get wet. So just the ordering was so fun. Then when I forgot the shake because it was a deluge.
You went all the way and you didn't get the Jamocha
I didn't
shake.
get the shake.
Oh my
So then
God.
then when you go to pay, I'm like, all right, at least, look, there's an overhang.
Oh, let me interrupt you. Carlos Frias, we had a discussion about shakes at fast food joints earlier in the week because it was National Chocolate Shake Day. Have you ever had a shake at Arby's? Because supposedly the Jamocha ones there are okay.
I am a Arby's aficionado because
really?
when I was a kid, my parents' favorite fast food place was Arby's because to Cuban immigrants, it's the only thing that looked like actual food at the fast food places versus like the cheeseburger at McDonald's was indistinguishable what kind of meat it was. They didn't trust it, but the other thing looked like sliced meat, and they understood. They'd had that big lump of meat that they shaved it behind the counter, and so I grew up on Arby's, so I can speak to the Jamocha Shake as being I think on the Mount Rushmore of fast food shakes.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
What would
On
you
the Mount Rushmore.
Real quick, what is your ranking of fast food shakes? And we're including everything from Shake Shack to McDonald's. So
Shake Shack Shake Shack is up there. Shake Shack is the Washington, of the Mount Rushmore.
Yes.
Jamocha shakes are on there. You got to have a Frosty on there.
Okay.
And
Really? We
consider
diss the
Frosty
Frosty. We don't even consider
diss
it a
the
shake.
Frosty.
It's
No, I
more like
would, but
you
I don't
have to
consider it
let the
shake.
Frosty. You can't. The Frosty.
you have to
is
let
is
it defrost. It's a defrosty.
Yes, it's a beverage you have to have patience for. You have to let it,
I have no
kind of
patience.
just thaw a little
It's
bit, and
fast
then it's
food.
icy and nice. And I like the Frosty. I would include the
Do you
Frosty.
dunk your French fries in it like those
No.
fucking Gen Z people, like my daughter? Oh God. Okay. All right. Well
horrible.
then,
I've
you're-
seen it
you're allowed
done.
to stay. You can keep your
seen it
James
done.
Beard Awards. That's okay.
All right.
All right. So, and then what about Steak and Shake? Because we were discussing Steak and Shake and
I
Sonic.
have not had one of those in a while. I have not.
and Sonic. Have you ever had a Sonic shake? I've never.
I
been
have
to a
had a Sonic shake. What they lack in flavor, they make up for in their towering size. they are enormous.
Quantity
you know what?
over quality.
Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen makes
He's
a
talking
great
Dairy Queen
shake.
I've never found much flavor in any product I've had out of Dairy Queen. So,
Out of the Dairy Queen. Oh.
and I have a soft spot since the new improved shakes at McDonald's. I actually like the chocolate shake at McDonald's, the new one that they
Okay.
actually put a little whipped cream on it. But I guess maybe that's when it's late at night and I'm stoned and I got busted out of a poker tournament. But who knows? But all right, there you have it. All right, sorry to interrupt, Lubie. You just took a bite. Can you show us the sandwich? Because I'm gonna, for comparison purpose, look at this beauty from Los Spades.
Wow.
Look at
Oh,
its
that cross section. There you go. Cross section. The cross
cross-section.
section. There you go.
Cross-section. Stick it up a little closer to the
A little
camera.
closer,
there.
Lubie.
Looks a little paltry on
Oh,
the meats.
That looks meat deficient. That looks.
What kind of
yeah.
meat? What describe the
Iron
meats and
deficiency in that.
I looked
sandwich.
it up because I had no idea what I was eating, and it said like a salami and a pepperoni and a ham. You know, like the attempts of one at a time. I don't know if it's that I'm starving, I'm delusional, but this is not horrible. I will have to say, out of the Mayo school book of compliments, this I don't think I would order it ever again because it still just feels weird. I would rather just spend $7 more and go to Las Spades and get a sandwich my wife and I both can eat.
Yes.
Full,
What is the cost?
scared. It was $8.
$8. So
And this
you know
whole
what?
sandwich is the size
eight.
and half of a Las Spades.
But here's the thing: at Los Spades, you can get an 8-inch sub instead of the 12-inch, and it was only $9 and change. So, like, for $1 more, you basically can get a Los Spades Italian loaded sub.
That's my thing.
Versus that.
It's not horrible. Like if you don't want roast beef, it's actually not bad. I would spend pretty much the similar money for a way better product.
I'm sorry, what kind of toppings on it again? Does it have all the?
They do lettuce, tomato, red onion, and banana peppers.
Mm-hmm. Any mayo?
And they do an aioli. I added I like mayonnaise, mustard, and oil vinegar. So
and this is a question for sandwich connoisseur Carlos Frias. A lot of people, especially from New York, they'll raise their noses in disgust if you put mayonnaise on an Italian sub, a cold cut sub. They think it only should have oil, vinegar, salt, pepper, and oregano. I like a little mayo on my Italian subs along with the oil and vinegar. What say you?
I welcome mayo in all its forms. People have the same reaction with Cuban sandwiches. You know that mayo doesn't belong in a Cuban sandwich, and it doesn't traditionally. But you know, I'll make sandwiches at home that are Cuban sandwich inspired, Cuban-esque. I'll put some mayo on there. You know, come at me. That's
a Shonda.
It's fine.
Okay, I'm going to make you give back one of the James Beard Awards. Not both of them, but one of them. Because you know me, Carlos. I am such a minimalist. I like the flatness. You know, don't be giving me that lechon roasted pork on a Cuban. It has to be the sliced roasted pork along with the sliced ham. And then just nothing but yellow mustard. That is the only time in my life that I actually want to see a bottle of the horrendous French's yellow mustard. If you put yellow mustard on a Cuban sandwich, I'm a very happy. Pickles, yellow mustard, again, the melted cheese, and on the press with the flatness of it all, it comes out beautiful. And if you put mayonnaise on a Cuban sandwich, you might as well just like go to the nearest Jewish deli and put it all over your pastrami and corned beef. So there.
What if I put mayo on a pastrami? What happens then?
I mean, I'm banish you to Nebraska or something.
I have the golem come to my house and shakes me out of my bed.
It's wrong. All right, so Lubie, on a scale of let's say 1 to 10, where would you put the Arby's loaded Italian sub?
5.
Okay.
4, 5, 6 in the 4 to 6 range. I mean, it's not inedible. It's just not. It's just the idea of ordering an Italian at Arby's. And again, I actually agree with Carlos. We make fun of Arby's because again, like when there's more than 3 cars in the parking lot, it's like Mayday there. But I grew up on it. My parents always liked Arby's. We always ate Arby's. Shirley and I, literally, that was my contention. I had Arby's yesterday. Like I like their beef and cheddar, and she likes their sliders. So I didn't want it 2 days in a row. But for Arby's, like this is a solid sandwich. We have so many sub places around.
Right. Why would anybody go there?
Similar prices and have way better quality meat. To me, it just makes sense. Oh, look who it is. Miss Las Spades herself. Gail, I wish I had your sub today. Mike Mayo punished me by having whatever this is, but we are seeing your praises as we love your subs.
Yes, and
Great.
and let me just stop for a minute and ask Defo. I know Defo, usually when you go to La Spada's, your favorite is the tuna, but do you ever get the Italian cold cut? Because it is a real treat. I usually get the monster, which is the combo of the turkey and the roast beef. Sometimes
Here's the great thing about Las Patas. I know Gail's watching, and I love her. I mean, she's a fantastic person, as is Harry and all the people that operate there. And as you said, I mean, look, big line out the door, no problem. It's not like you have to wait an hour to
Oh, no,
get
they
there.
move so fast.
Move so fast. They really know what they're doing.
They
There
took
really
me
isn't
at
a
Arby's.
sandwich that you could order there that you won't be satisfied with. I would say that's a fair statement.
Any place where there is it Las Patas or VNS that no, it's VNS that throws the meat.
no,
it's fine.
Is it Las Patas? Any place that's literally throwing the meat from one
Oh, yeah.
person to
I
the other
mean,
to get you out like that
But
is
think about it. I mean,
show me better
there's already
efficiency.
way more meat on there than you would ever expect on any kind of sandwich
Oh,
at that
yeah.
price or, and of that
no.
quality.
Let me put it
And
this.
like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with a skyhook. I don't know how
No.
to train people.
You haven't seen that much
Oh.
meat thrown since Pedro Martinez threw
No.
Don Zimmer, right?
No, I was gonna say, look, it was
There
very
is no
impressive.
bad sub there, Mike Mayo. I'm
was-
a fan of the tuna. The chicken salad is highly underrated. I mean,
But
really,
they can't
like,
throw the
it
chicken
was, yeah.
salad or the tuna.
When our
That's
friend
what
Brian
it's
was talking about the
missing.
roast beef,
But if I wasn't going to do that, I was going to do a roast beef.
Yeah, no. So again, usually my order is the monster, which is a roast beef and turkey. But today, because of the comparison, I got the Italian, and it's got the ham, the gabagool, and the
And
salami.
you don't have to make a dentist appointment like you do
No.
at BNS because
No.
you're not going to.
This is one instance. I'm really warming to your view now.
It blends together, and then
where the
Ryan
sa-
made a great point about the sweet peppers.
Yeah.
Because the vegetables that they use, well, whatever it is, I mean, people like get into all of this conniptions about, is it boar's-head? Is it this? Everything is of a high quality, but the vegetables they use there really make the thing.
and I got it all the way. Okay, so it's the Italian with the 3 meats, provolone cheese. They gave you a choice of either
yeah, and
the
that's the other thing
Swiss.
too. They use Swiss. Like when is Swiss on
Where
an
at
Yes,
Arby's?
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's because it's Arby's. I mean, what do you expect? It's a all these Midwesterners, they don't know from cheese.
Well, when did
That's-
Arby's first
that's
come into
the-
existence? Like 50 years ago?
I don't know,
Been
but
around my whole life.
I was a big fan of it when they first came out. I used to get like 2 Arby's roast beef and think I was in heaven. And then it's sort of like, I don't know, you started looking at the meat. Did you ever do that? I mean, how important to you, Carlos, is meat examination?
No, never, never,
like
never,
Lubie
never
finds
open the
breakfast
never
sandwich.
open the burger. That's like
No, I-
that's like those things that when you open it, it voids the warranty. It's the same thing with the sandwich. You can't open it or you void the
I guess
Never
there is life
stare
on
into the-
Mars. You start thinking, yeah.
staring.
All right.
That's staring into the void, Defo. You can't do that.
all right, first of all, let me say the comparison with the meat throwing. I mean, the crew there today, they have a higher QB rating than Tua Tagovailoa at this point, which is not hard to do. But I'd say they're even at a higher rating efficiency than Josh Allen.
And they don't just throw short. I mean, they throw long. It's not like
No.
I mean, they're not.
I was
afraid to
impressed.
blow
It
that
was
thing across the room.
the meats were being sliced here at this
Yeah.
corner of the rest of the shop, and the guy with the bread was literally like 6 feet away.
Yeah.
And it was a perfect completion. It was very impressive.
Well, and then the signal calling is great too, because the guy will yell out, "I need a roast beef top,"
hmm
and boom, there it goes across the room. Like,
I got my
Where,
ham.
where the white bread? Where the white bread? Audible. Where the white bread?
they're doing signals. It's
And-
Well, I told you again, when you're pregnant, you're not supposed to have deli meats, but it's not because of the meat. It's because of the care and how the meat was presented. We've now done this twice. We don't do it a lot because, again, we still are trying to be smart, but she really loves ham. And the only place we trusted to do this, because our OB said, look, it's fine actually, but make sure they slice it in front of your face and make sure the machine's clean. I've now done this twice over the last 7.5 months. And one time it was busy, one time it was slow. And both times they stopped the line to get a clean rag and clean the machine 3 times for me and hand slice it in front of me just to make sure that we knew it was safe and we knew it was well done. I'm not saying other places wouldn't do it, but I wouldn't expect it. Like just with Las Patas, I know you get that kind of care that it allowed my wife to have something she was dreaming about and feel safe about it.
I'm digging this sandwich. I'm chowing down on it. I went to
You're
the
coming around, Mayo. You know what?
no. I
It's good
went.
to
I
see an
went.
awakening with you. Well,
Yeah, and
yeah.
I went to the gym this
Carlos,
morning.
you knew him to be very stubborn in terms of his opinions. Back when you were together at the Sun Sentinel, I mean, was Mayo known as the most stubborn of
I think
guys?
it's the opposite. I always found him to be the most amenable of
Oh,
all the comments. I had
Things
to do.
changed over the years. So,
I mean, like a toss up between him and Dave Hyde, both very
hi,
chill,
Hyde,
chill
100%.
personalities,
come on,
chill personalities to deal with. You know,
no
Oh, yeah,
comparison.
it was.
I don't
It's like comparing this Laspanas with this
Those were the
Arby's.
days. No, anyway, no, but I get my sub there loaded all the way, which is lettuce. I always ask for light lettuce. I don't like too much lettuce.
I'm
but
with you on that.
lettuce, light lettuce, tomato, and then they have the two kinds of peppers: the sweet peppers and then the hot cherry peppers. And then there's some pickles and onions, and the oil, vinegar, salt, pepper, oregano. It's perfect. So, Gail and Harry, keep up the great work. I'm glad that you've tuned into the show, and
Voted best in the city. Come on, man.
maybe we'll get back
Yeah,
out
what's
there
the win?
someday.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna get to the wide world of Carlos Frias. There's been a lot on your plate, so to speak. You've been doing
Nice.
stuff for the New York Times and other publications. You've also want to talk. I want to talk about this Freedom Tower project that you've been working on. But we'll get to all that and more after our first break. And before we do the first break, just a quick reminder about our friends at Tropical Acres Steakhouse. There was a post the other day about somebody asking about Thanksgiving and where should they go. They did a comparison between should I go to Tropical Acres? There was a mom who was tired of cooking and she's not going to her family Thanksgiving. She's got 3 young kids, single mom. She said, should I go to Tropical Acres or Blue Moon, which is a seafood restaurant on the Intracoastal? My mind, I always go to Tropical Acres, whether it's a holiday or any day, because especially if you're a value conscious mom, you get the best value at Tropical Acres, along with great service. And forget all the stuff about, oh, it's only for old people. No, that is complete bunk. I go in there now all the time. I see young couples on dates. My daughter, who is going to be 20 years old, she loves going to the place every time she's in town from college. That's one of her first requests. Can we go and get a piece of prime rib at Tropical Acres? And sometimes she gets the filet mignon. And of course, you can get the twin lobster special, $39. Have you been to Tropical Acres, Carlos? And are you?
I have not, because I feel like if I go, I'll have to have an opinion, and then I'll get canceled by the Let's Eat group
By the other side.
by 50%, by 50.1% of the Let's Eat group, and that
It is
number
a-
changes.
Look, and the Jack Studiali and his family, they're wonderful people, community minded, and they get it. They understand not everybody's going to love them, and they understand. I call them a polarizing place, and to me, a polarizing place is one that engenders very strong feelings on both sides. But I'm on Team Tropical Acres. It's a hill I'm willing to. Well, I don't want to die on it. I want to eat there all the time because it is great. So give them a call, especially if you're looking to book something for the holidays. Thanksgiving Day, they are open and they fill up fast. So give them a call. They do things the old-fashioned way there, Carlos. You can't go online and get into Open Table or Resi. You got to pick up a phone and there's a human being and they write your name down on a pad with
What's
the
a
number
phone?
and they have it charts and graphs about how many they could seat in any given half hour during these holidays. I love it that way because forget AI. They're going to get it right, and you're going to get that human touch. Give them a call at 954-989-2500, 954-989-2500 for your reservations. They're open every day but Sunday. We love them. Don't forget the happy hour, 4:30 to 6:30 in the bar, home of the $8 Belvedere Martini. You try doing that in Miami and in some of your Tony South Beach places there. I don't think so. All right, let's take the first break, and then we will get into the wide world of Carlos Frias after these words.
Hey, Lunchbox fans, is it time to sell your business? You've poured your heart and soul into your restaurant or business, and you want to see continue the legacy you have built. Transworld can help. Call me, Andy Cagnetta, at Transworld Business Advisors right now and see if it's time for you to retire and relax. Iconic brands like the Mai Kai, Mulligan's, Carlos and Pepe's, Mangoes, and many more turn to Transworld to help sell. Contact Transworld on Facebook or call 954-772-1122 or visit tworld.com. Again, that's 954-772-1122 or tworld.com.
When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks, just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks. They're open every day but Tuesday. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Guess who's back and better than ever? Juan's. For the best in classic old school Chinese cuisine, a family run South Florida favorite since 1966. It's at 664 North Federal Highway in Fort Lauderdale, open every day but Tuesday for lunch and dinner. Chef Alex is carrying on the family tradition that started 4 generations ago. It used to be known as Christina Juan's Mandarin House, and you're going to love it as Juan's. They've got all your favorites: wonton soup, spare ribs, egg rolls, dumplings, Peking duck, and more. Combo lunch specials daily and takeout and delivery. For more information, go to their Instagram page at wans.fl. If you're looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 in the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, for tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. The finest quality, warm hospitality, and world-class creativity. Those are the ingredients that make Daniel's, a Florida steakhouse, a special place. Come experience the restaurant that's Michelin Guide recommended and totally Mike Mayo's Lunchbox approved, with an impressive collection of steaks, seafood, and more, like their foie gras creme brulee. Daniel's is located at 620 South Federal Highway in Fort Lauderdale, just south of the New River Tunnel, open Tuesday through Sunday for dinner. For reservations and information, go to danielssteak.com. Fresh local fish, a sophisticated setting. I'm talking about Corvina Seafood Grill. It's at 110 Plaza Real South in Boca Raton, just south of Palmetto Park Road. It's the place to go for the freshest and local seafood and fish, some of it with a Peruvian twist like their great ceviches. It's open 7 days for dinner. They also have happy hours 7 days a week. You don't want to miss it. It's a great place. CorvinaBocaRaton.com for more information and reservations. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Same great Thai food, beautiful new location. I'm talking about Eat Thai, now in Boca Raton at 6299 North Federal Highway. Thai cuisine is having a moment, and Chef Sopanut makes some of the best in South Florida. A hip and modern spot with authentic Thai street food and some innovative twists. The spicy oxtail soup, Thai bouillabaisse, shrimp ceviche, and classic noodle dishes will wow you. And they now offer full liquor and craft cocktails too. Open every day but Tuesday for lunch and dinner. Go to eatthaiflorida.com for more information. All right, we're back on the Lunchbox. It is a weekday home show with special guest Carlos Frias. You know him. He used to work at the Miami Herald as the food editor. He used to work at WLRN. He got out before all the funding was cut. He used to work, he is currently working. He's kind of like a freelancer, an all-star freelancer. He does stuff for the Washington Post, New York Times, and also just a general man about town, cultural icon, doing stuff with the museum and the Freedom Tower. What's going on in your world? I guess just give us the highlights and the roundup. What's been going on?
Well, food-wise, I think two of the most interesting things going on is I was able to, for the second year in a row, I participated with the New York Times putting together its list of 25 best restaurants in Miami, and Bon Appetit recently asked me, to write a little bit about Cuban sandwiches. What makes Miami's different, and just give them eight of my favorite spots. So I spent some time doing that. I spent a little bit of time just thinking about Cuban sandwiches and eating more around town, and trying to find places that other people are talking about. Because I think that's sometimes people mistake food writers as like, oh, we were the first one to find this place, and usually it's like we paid attention to the people who have been already folks who have been dining and liking places, and then we kind of stop in, and I found that to be the case with a couple places that I really liked.
Yeah, no, and I don't know. Look, even though he sometimes has the palate of a fifth grader, I happen to really respect Seth Gonzalez Burger Beast, and he's a guy who's had his ear to the ground. So when it comes to things like Cuban sandwiches or croquetas or fritas, like he's been going around, he does all the work. And I love the democratization, I don't know if that's a word, of the food world. Look, you have for every... All right, I don't want to pick on Keith Lee. The guy is tremendously successful, but he doesn't really know much or care much about food or a cultural history and background in a certain location. But but then you've got like the diehard locals who are going out and about. And one of the reasons I love the Let's Eat group is because it's a two-way street. And people who are the critics or writers at the big local newspaper can't be in every neighborhood. So it's nice to find out about places from the people who are out there eating every day. So I'm glad that you recognize that. Defo, I know, is always interested in Cuban sandwiches, and he always asks, what's the best place to get a Cuban sandwich in Miami?
I want to ask Carlos, because
Latin American Cafe, man, in Coral Gables. I don't know if it's still there.
And I know Carlos likes them.
That place was the best, man.
Let me ask you,
a zillion of them piled up. It was fantastic.
I find it's interesting because, yes, a Cuban restaurant should make a good Cuban, but I've had some of my favorite Cubans in like dingy bars that the food's even like, do you find that your favorite Cubans are necessarily at well-known Cuban restaurants? Have you had Cubans that you've enjoyed at places that weren't serving lechon asada? Let's say that.
Yeah. I think that some places really just kind of specialize them in them, and they can, like, there's like Defo, you mentioned Latin American restaurant.
The first one I ever had. It was what was it, on Coral Way?
There's one Coral Way that one closed
at the time, and I was with somebody who said, "Hey, you got to try this." I did, and I don't know that I've ever had anything as good since. And the many times I went back there, of course, it was always great. But they had like 50 of them already made. It was just the whole process was fantastic in that place.
Yeah, and they keep that up in the Latin American that's on Red Road and Southwest A Street in Cayocho. And the same thing, they're piled up, and they have dozens of presses, and they're just going, or half a dozen presses, and they're going all day, and they just make a really good, like, that's what I would call like the, how there's like a kilogram or a gram stored somewhere in Switzerland. That's like the kilogram that all kilograms are measured after.
Right, the standard.
I'm hoping to find one in my safe.
The phrase gold standard, I think, comes from that kilo. Yeah,
the gold, having a standard. And I think that's what Latin American does, is they have the standard Cuban sandwich, like great. By all which others in Miami
how many
measured.
locations are there of that restaurant?
That family has two. They have one down by FIU and this one here. And I really like them. If you get like the extra large one, they kind of cut it into fours. They break it up. It looks like a Swiss flag or something like that, in 4 pieces. And you can kind of eat the amount of Cuban sandwich that you want. Little tiny sandwiches, which I really like that.
So aside from that, what are some of the other places that you spotlighted in Bon Appetit? And are there any newfangled ones like the Sandwich and things like that?
Sandwich is on it. That's the kind of spot where they just obsess over every single ingredient that goes into it. It's a crazy level of obsession. I love that Empanada Harry's, which really is an empanada shop, does a Cuban sandwich empanada that I think is the best one that I've had. It's a really delicious.
That's not a sandwich. That's an empanada. It's a variation, right?
Okay.
Oh, in your world, it's a sandwich. Okay.
What is an Uncrustable? Have you ever had a peanut butter and jelly Uncrustable?
Yes,
what is an Uncrustable?
Thankfully, I can answer that truthfully. No, I've never had it.
All right. Well, people in the chat have, and I want to hear them. Have you ever had an Uncrustable? It's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich where the edges have been crimped into a little circle. So that little circle is this encapsulated. Now, if you were to oven roast that, you're looking at that. I mean, otherwise, that's a cold empanada. So the empanada if you accept the Uncrustable into your world as a sandwich, you must also welcome the empanada.
And I
So,
love that. I love that guy and that couple because he used to be a journalist. He came up through
Yeah.
the Sun Sentinel sports department as an intern.
And I talk about them too much, but honestly, they do really great stuff, and their sandwich is great. Their empanada sandwich is great. Although they also have a Cuban sandwich on the menu, which I did not have, but I thought the empanada was really special. Outside of that, like I said, the Latin America makes a really special one. There's this place called Tinta y Café.
Sure.
Yeah, well, they do kind of like a little bit of a spin forward. Like instead of Cuban bread, they use like the dad who was from Cuba uses a French baguette, like a kind of a French baguette, and then he uses mortadella inside of the meat.
Cuban sandwich. That's a banh mi. That's a Cuban banh mi. No,
well, the mortadella was one of the original ingredients from Cuba and Cuban sandwiches. Our late friend Andy Hughes, who is a librarian who we lost recently.
Yeah, explain. He lived in Tampa, and he also was obsessed by the history and background of Cuban sandwiches, right? And he wrote a book.
Yeah, he was a historian and a librarian at the University of South Florida's libraries, and he did a lot of like really deep dives, like books, but also academic journals, entries, academic papers into the history of things, including the Cuban sandwich. He looked at like 150 years worth of everything from advertisements from Cuba and the U.S., all over the country, to like find out what were some of the original ingredients that people were making.
Did he come to any conclusions, or you and him come to any meeting of the minds that who can claim it, or did it really come from Havana and none of us in Florida should claim it, or what?
Well, that was the interesting thing, that he said that his research showed that sandwich came from Havana.
Okay.
And as it came to the U.S., it landed in different places. It picked up different ingredients. Like in Tampa, they started adding salami.
And that's because in that neighborhood in Ybor City, there was a lot of Italian immigrants as well as the Cubans, right?
You would assume they like to, and he caught a lot of flack for this because he's from Tampa, but he had no other interest than just finding the truth, right? And he caught a lot of flack from people who like to, at one point they wanted to name it the official sandwich of the city, and it had salami, and there was this whole story about how it was the ethnic backgrounds came together, like there was a meeting between the fine families, and they all decided what went into the Cuban sandwich, and he kind of dispelled that myth, but
they insist on the Genoa salami.
right. I must insist that this sandwich have Genoa salami for us to
Could it have
endorse it.
Hebrew National on it?
It would be. I would hate to see something terrible happen to your Cuban sandwich. Would it not to have some salami?
Is there a gas station in Hialeah somewhere that makes the best Cuban sandwich, Carlos? I mean, you've done a lot of research on this. What do you think about gas station Cuban food in general?
I don't mind it at all. I know a guy that was one of the original, or he used to work with the original Vicky Bakery folks, and they would bake specifically for gas stations. A lot of folks didn't know that it had like a different name. So there was like, and he would deliver it, fresh baked Cuban stuff, Cuban goods and croquetas and things like that to local gas stations. So the truth is, to make a great Cuban sandwich, like all you need is a press. Like all you need, like that is the undisputable thing. Like even if you have solid ingredients from even the grocery store, solid ingredients, and you put it together inside that warm press with some melty cheese over the top.
Yep. It's all about the technique and the equipment. Now you have a sandwich press at home,
you
right?
still have one, right?
I do. I am almost embarrassed to say that I have this enormous commercial press that used to be used in the kitchens of Versailles.
Really?
It is a 20. I mean, it's 20 by 18. Like it is
you built
a giant,
an addition to your home just for the sandwich press.
Yes, it has its own zip code. And I took it to a Hialeah auto parts.
Silver foil or aluminum foil.
It can hold 6 sandwiches. Six. I mean, like literally.
How often do you use it? Is that get a workout at least once a week?
Weekly.
Every week.
Well, since my kids left for college, it doesn't get quite as full because I used to use it to load up on things. But Sundays are my days to make, pressed Cuban bread at home with a café con leche, and it gets use.
And is it strictly traditional, or are you like a mad scientist where you'll take like pita bread or some other weird, glutinous objects and just start playing around with butter and lard and things like that.
Well, my friend Jeff Hauk, who's a writer in Tampa, always says that we should start a channel where it's called Will It Press, and we'll just put different foods in there and try to press it. So I am definitely open to experimentation.
I think that's a great idea. You could start.
And
with
we see Scott Mellam.
Yeah,
Merson.
Yeah, yep.
He chimed in about the Columbia. Jeff Hauk is like the director of PR now at the Columbia.
Oh, okay. And I've eaten there.
He was a writer he was a longtime great food writer for the Tampa Bay Times, and he co-authored that Cuban sandwich book, which is a great book. It's called The Cuban Sandwich: A History in Layers, and it's a great read. It's got research in it, but it's also incredibly readable. I would recommend it.
The Columbia restaurant, also a trivia question answer. What is the oldest restaurant in Florida? And number one is Columbia Restaurant. Number two, Carlos?
I don't know what.
I don't know. Whenever you got to smear the maitre d', it's always on the way out.
It's Joe's.
Joe's, okay.
Joe's the same.
Yeah, Columbia, I think, was 1905, and Joe's, I believe, 1915 or thereabouts.
What kind of table were you getting? I always smeared on the way in.
Oh, that's why you would get sat on the outside.
Outside by the kitchen.
No, always.
Frozen
You didn't.
crabs,
Nobody taught you that. Hank Goldberg didn't teach you that.
Oh, I used to grease the guy right away. I mean, that's always my
No.
style. It's Henry Hill, you know. You give
Always on the way out, and very surreptitiously, and never with the chief maitre d', who at the time when I started down here was Roy. But you'd always go off to the side, and I would see Bones, who eventually became the head maitre d', big, tall, black guy. And
Is that still in vogue, though? Do you still have to grease the guy with a 20?
yeah. It never goes out of style. Money never goes.
Can I share one of my favorite Joe's hacks, which
Yes.
is my favorite beach is that little South Point Beach, right next to South Point Park, which where the government cut is, where the cruise ships come in and out, and that's basically Joe's backyard. So if you go there early, you hang out by the beach. When it starts getting too hot, you go over to Joe's Takeaway, little cafeteria. It's basically an open cafeteria connected to Joe's, and you can get basically everything inside the restaurant. You can get claws, and you can get an $8 half fried chicken.
The fried chicken.
That goes toe to toe with any fried chicken I've had in the city. So I love that spot.
It's their lost leader, and the Weiss family says they keep it on the menu on the affordable side because they know not everybody can afford the stone crabs, and they want every table to get one just to share it because they're proud of it. So
listen, stone crabs at $50 a pound, I think makes up for whatever they're losing on the.
yeah. Nobody's shedding any tears for them. One of the highest grossing independent restaurants in the country. All right, got some other things to get to. Let's just talk about in general what your sense of the New York Times, you mentioned you put together the top 25 list. Very nice. But they recently just released their top, I don't know what they call it, best 50 new restaurants or best 50 restaurants in America. There was only one Florida restaurant on that list, and the one and only is in Miami, and I still haven't been there, and it's number one on my list of places I need to get to. It's called Sonny's. Did you have a hand in the selection of the top 50 list, or just talk about your involvement on all these various lists?
I didn't have an involvement into that one, but I did go to that with their food writer, and I've been before to write about it for the publication when it was we were considering it for the Miami list. And it's funny because they have this. It's kind of like an insider thing, but like usually they like it to be on the national list before they put it on the city list versus the other way where like it's like a semifinal. You'll be on the semi and then you make it to the final. They do it the opposite.
Okay.
But they've been high on it since I want to say since we first went together like late last fall, early in the winter. I went a couple weeks after it opened. And it's really phenomenal. It just feels like a restaurant that's always been there.
Right.
The way that it's designed, it feels very much like Joe's, and where it's like it's got this kind of relaxed old luxury.
And where is it? It's in the near Little Haiti, or in that kind of Little River district?
Yeah, I mean that area has gone from Lemon City to Little Haiti to now Little River. That section, what they call north of Little Haiti,
rebranding.
Rebranding because now all the developers are opening up there.
Yeah, now it's nicer.
But it's really great. It's really great, and it deserves a spot.
And it's kind of a steakhouse, but they also have pasta dish, and it's from the team behind Jaguar Sun, right? Is that correct?
Right. And that team also opened a spot called Vice Vice Versa, which is on the Times 25 Miami list, which we just added that. That's a great. That's almost like you can get a Cliff Notes of the Sonny's experience at Vice Versa. With but their thing is like pizzas and crudos. Really like and great like Italian, traditional Italian cocktails with little twists to them here and there. And that's like a great little.
Is that one of your favorites? Now, what are the places that
Yeah.
you're digging and going to repeatedly?
Well, I really enjoyed that when I went. There's two pizza places I went to recently that I loved, man. There's a place called Fratesi, and it's in downtown Miami, and it's co-owned by the team that started Tam Tam and then also started Double Luck. Like they have their hand in
one's
helping other places.
Vietnamese, one's Chinese, and now they're doing pizza. Okay, that
Yeah,
seems a
but
little
it's
bit-
like you have an owner and then you have a guy who's a specialty in it, and they kind of partner up to open these different things. Like if you were partners with a guy who's Chinese and he wanted to open a Chinese place, like you would kind of bankrolling that idea and understanding like the hospitality behind it. Like,
the
look,
business
we'll
part.
build the hospitality around it, and you build the food. And they build this kind of like Jersey bar pizza, like where it's sauce right to the crispy edge. It's thin, like the dough itself is crispy, like
I love that,
it crisps as you
I've seen
kind of
your
bend it in
posts.
half.
That looked great, by the way.
It's
Yeah.
really wonderful. And and a little hack that they're doing is that if you ask for like their plain pie with their salad, they'll take like their arugula salad, which it's just lemon and olive oil with a little Parmesan, and they toss it over the top of the pizza.
See, I'm opposed to that. I like
Oh my
strict
God. No,
separation
Mike,
of my
Mike, it is
vegetables
fantastic.
and my salads and my pizza. I don't mind
No.
putting
It's
peppers and onions
fantastic.
on a pizza, but I keep the arugula and the lettuces out of there.
Oh,
But,
you're missing out. You're
all
missing
right, and
out.
then
It's
number
really
two,
good.
I think you did that Mark's artisanal pizza, the one that's up on 79 or somewhere in North Bay Village there, right? Is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
right?
People are stabbing each other over trying to get inside of that place. Not really. But like you hear, because it's such a small restaurant, it's like 20, 25 seats, realistically. And like you get there it opens at 5, and at 4:30 there's a line. Like we went on a recent I don't know if it was a Saturday or Sunday, and there was already like 6 people in line and the restaurant was full. But what's cool, what I really love that they do there is you put your name on the list. They take your phone number and they'll say, "Hey, we'll text you when the table's ready." There's a bar called Bob's Your Uncle, right down the block there.
Bob was my father, but he could be my uncle if I can drink there. That's fine. Yeah.
Well, I learned that's a British phrase that they say
Oh.
when something is complete, like you say, you put this on top of that, boom, Bob's Your Uncle, like boom, there you
know
go.
Never heard that.
Yeah, well,
That's good.
So you go to Bob's Your Uncle, you have a beer for like $7, and you hang out, and then they text you or they call you and they say, "Hey, your table's ready," and you walk back over, 100 feet, and you have your food. And I was
That
like,
sounds
that's a
civilized.
great symbiosis.
Now I have to chide you, Carlos Frias, because I appreciate the fact that you're chiming in with these really well-written mini reviews on the Let's Eat group, which I do from time to time too, because it just keeps those muscles, those reviewing muscles going. But I did not approve that post, nor would I have, because you violated several rules with that post. Now you
What?
you got the lenient admin. I don't know. Usually it's Gretchen or David Schutz, but you did 2 no-nos, and I don't care if you've won 1, 2, 5 billion James Beard Awards, but even when I post my reviews, I don't post selfies, and I really don't ever post a selfie with a pet, specifically a dog, inside a restaurant, and I would have spared you the aggravation because I knew you were going to take a lot of heat because of the 214,000 members in Let's Eat. About 115,000 of them are dog haters, and they just can't stand the sight of any dog, period, let alone one inside a restaurant, which you were in that post. So can you please explain yourself?
Well, first of all, I just hit a button that said cross post, and it just went over there, and I was like, great, I don't have to do that twice. And honestly, like when we first went to the restaurant and we went to put our names in, I said, "Hey, listen, we got this dog. We see you have these 2 tables outside. Can we request, the tables outside for the dog?" And they said, "Sure, but he looks calm. He can come inside if you want." And I said, sure, that's not a problem. They said, yeah, that's not a problem. We'll text you. And I said, okay, great. And I thought almost nothing more about it. I mean, I have been to restaurants where dogs are annoying, and I do not like that. And I understand that like people don't want
Did you
dogs with
expect the level of
potential-
vitriol that you receive? And were people vitriolic?
I didn't
And was
think
I
about
one
it.
of them?
I didn't think about it. I respect it, but I didn't think about it. That people would be so opposed to. But people are. Listen, I know people who have worse whatchamacallit, hygiene habits than my dog, and but I respect that folks that don't want to eat in places with dogs and they want to avoid it. And frankly, the lines are long enough at Mark's, so.
There you go. Good. Go somewhere else. All right. We got to take another break. We're going to wrap up after that. I do have one more embarrassing topic for you after the break. Defo's got to go, but we can get into it. Yesterday, Defo and I, we realized we had something in common. It's quite disgusting. We like eating or drinking, in my case, tomato pasta sauce straight from the jar. He does it with a spoon and a little bowl, and he nukes it. I do it. I chug it straight, no chaser, refrigerated. He considers that dinner sometimes. But I want to get into some disgusting food habits and proclivities, and maybe think about what yours is, and we will share that with because even award-winning food writers and critics like myself, it's hard to believe, but yes, I've won some major awards for food, but I have my vices. Chugging sauce and Skyline chili are among them, but we'll get into some of yours. Defo, you have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
And let's take break number 2, and we'll come back and we'll get into some of the scarier, darker places after these words. When people ask me about the best restaurants in South Florida, Casa d'Angelo is always at the top of my list. First-class dining, top-flight service, elegant atmosphere, and chef-founder Angelo Ilia is legendary. The flagship in Fort Lauderdale has been serving the finest Italian cuisine since 1997, with other locations in Boca Raton and Aventura. As Angelo himself says, they have an unwavering commitment to unparalleled quality with meticulous attention to details. It's so good, with house-made pastas, pristine seafood, unique meats like elk chops and bison, and seasonal specialties including fragrant fresh truffles from Italy. All locations open 7 days for dinner. Reservations recommended. For a special occasion or any occasion, Casa d'Angelo. Tell them Mike Mayo sent you. Delicious Mexican food with innovative twists. Margaritas with a medley of tongue-tingling flavors. I'm talking about Taco Craft, Taqueria, and Tequila Bar. The place to go on Taco Tuesday and every day. It's located at 510 North Federal and Highway in Fort Lauderdale, and also in Lauderdale by the Sea at Plantation Walk and Coral Springs. Taco Craft has specials every day, including bottomless drinks for a Sunday brunch and Taco Tuesdays with their $4 premium tacos, including their new birria tacos with bone marrow broth. Oh, it's so good. They've even made a taco lover out of me, and they've got so much more, including fajitas, that open-faced smashed cheeseburger tortilla that's new, and a guacamole sample that's an explosion of flavors. The kitchen is open late. There's delivery and takeout. For more information, go to tacocraft.com. Tell them Mike Mayo, the Lunchbox, sent you. A tradition for South Florida sports fans for more than 30 years. Shenanigans. It's at 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach, the place to go for all your favorite teams and events and food that's not your ordinary sports bar fare. Award-winning wings, burgers, fresh fish, and more, TV screens galore, and all-day happy hour specials. The kitchen and bar are open into the wee hours, perfect for late-night bites and very close to the airport. For playoff action, football season, and a good time anytime, Shenanigans. Looking for inspired comfort food in a cozy setting? Blue Collar in Miami is the place to go. Located at 6789 Biscayne Boulevard, it moved to bigger digs a year ago, now has full liquor, and still features all your old favorites from chef owner Danny Surfer. Fantastic burgers, the braise of the day, and the city's best key lime pie. And the summer specials are sizzling. Miami Spice menu in August, September, and drink specials every day. Open daily with weekend brunch. For reservations and information, go to bluecollarmiami.com. When people come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville, that's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, Even Keel Fish Shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. Looking for a real New York slice? Check out Peter's Pizzeria, your neighborhood pizza shop. With 2 locations, 1166 North Federal Highway in Pompano Beach and 897 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca Raton. Slices, whole pies, specialty pizzas, heroes, rice balls, salads, pastas, and Mama's homemade desserts. It's New York flavor, Florida made. Originally from Long Island, Peter brings passion and pride to his pizzas. No matter where you're from, you'll feel right at home. Open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner with delivery and takeout. Place your order today at mypeters.com. All right, we're back on the Lunchbox. We've got Carlos Frias with us. We're about to head into overtime, and you've had some time to think about it. Again, me and Defo chugged some pasta sauce yesterday. He admits to sometimes just having a full meal out of pouring some sauce into a little bowl and just smoothing it in. Our mutual friend, Danny Surfer, great restaurateur, owner of Blue Collar and Mignonette, the Michelin recognized and recommended Mignonette. He admitted to us on the show at Blue Collar last week that his peculiar food habit involves taking a toasted cinnamon raisin bagel,
my God,
putting tuna fish on it, and dunking it in orange juice.
And he dunked it in orange.
Danny.
I
Weird.
almost unfriended him in person right in front of me at that point.
Yeah, no, that's where you kind of just get up and you don't say anything. You just get up and
He's
you
a sponsor.
walk out.
I still have to kind of sit there and grin. And I just roll my eyes because I have a lot of respect for his food, his cooking, his restaurants. But when he says something like that, I don't know how to take it. But is there anything in your...
I was going to say he's got to have some kind of iron, some kind of mineral deficiency that his body's asking for that. I was going to say the one I was thinking about that nobody in my family likes, and it's something that I hated that my dad ate, but that now that I appreciate are sardines, like sardines in oil. Just open up the can of sardines and put it on a couple of saltine crackers.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. Now, here's the one that to this day, like my partner Gabby, she'll still like scratch right over. Sometimes I'm looking for a snack and it's available and I just eat it, and that's American cheese slices right out of the plastic. I just open up the plastic, unfold one, and just eat a slice of American cheese without any kind of dressing or condiment. And
and this is refrigerated cheese. It's so it kind of doesn't stick to the little plastic thing. Because if you leave it in the car on the way home, sometimes and you try to get a slice of, first of all,
No, I'm talking about Kraft cheese slices and the little prepackaged. Yeah.
No, and that's not even cheese. It's if you read the label, it says pasteurized cheese food. It's not
some of them are a cheese product.
Yes,
which is horrible. But some of them are actual cheese. So American cheese, you have to use, I forget what the process is or whatever that ingredient is that makes it be American cheese. But it's like real cheese. It's done the same way as cheese is done, and it's honestly, it's the to me the unbeatable, unequaled cheese to put on a hot sandwich because you want it to melt. Like no
Well, no,
cheese
the
melts
meltiness
like American
of,
cheese.
of American cheese on a cheeseburger. I mean, if you saw the movie The
Nothing.
Menu, did you see the movie The Menu? By the way,
Oh
with
my
Ray-
God, yeah,
it's
I
great.
did.
But
I did. I want to say I made a little short. I made a little short movie where I made my own cheeseburger at home, and I had like the sound of the movie in the background, and when I serve it, you just hear the young woman's voice. I forget the actress's name, where she says, "Now that is a cheeseburger."
Yeah, that's
Because that's
it's right. It is the meltiest cheese. You don't want to read the label because the ingredients can get a little scary, enough to even turn RFK Jr. into a American cheese skeptic. I don't know how
Don't
it
say it
gets
too
so
loud.
orange.
Don't say it too loud. He'll ban that too. He'll
Yeah,
ban that
I know.
too.
All right, and then so that's the sardines on the saltine. Nothing too weird, as long as you don't put like raspberry sorbet or something like on it, because that's the kind of stuff that Danny just shocked me. I mean, it was bad enough to tune on the cinnamon raisin bagel, but then to dunk it in orange juice. He said it was something that a girl that he used to go to camp with did, and I don't know if he was enamored with her or what, but it's something.
That girl's a serial killer now. We went to camp together. She's in prison now.
Oh, that is possibly true. All right. And have I ever asked you the Skyline Chili question? This is something
Yes.
I ask, but
That's
okay.
every time.
I lived in Cincinnati for a
So,
stretch.
yes, you like it.
and I had ready access to Grater's ice cream and
Okay, so-
Skyline and Gold Star.
So this was the idea I pitched, and Danny Surface said, "Do not blow all the money you made selling your house on this," because I think there was and I'm glad that you recognize Graders for the great ice cream that it is, and the raspberry chip. It's available in certain Publixes. I've seen Graders.
Amaretto Crunch was my
Okay.
jam.
Ooh,
But,
that sounds
okay,
Yeah.
there was some retail and restaurant spaces available up here in Fort Lauderdale near the corridor where Port Everglades is located. And
Okay.
my idea was, okay, there used to be a Skyline Chili on the east side of Fort Lauderdale on Federal Highway up near Wilton Manors. That went out a while back. The family that owned the land, they were getting up there and they just wanted out. But I think that the east side of Fort Lauderdale, it was very popular and it lasted for, almost 45, 50 years. I think the east side of Fort Lauderdale needs and really deserves a Skyline Chili again. There is one remaining on this side of South Florida. It's in Sunrise on University
And there's
Drive.
always people there. As much as we mock it, I've been
Tony
there.
Doyle and
It's
his
5
great
minutes from my parents'
wife.
house. There's
They
always
do They do a great job and they do a steady business. I'm saying I wanted to do like a combo business where you get a Skyline Chili and a Grater's ice cream, kind of the way they used to have Dunkin' Donuts and Baskin Robbins, but have Skyline Chili, Grater's ice cream, have a drive-through, have it open late, and all these cruise ship passengers who are coming in from the Midwest. I think you'd make a gold mine. It would be a mint. And Danny Surface says, no, that's awful. And now I've given out the idea to anybody out there, but I don't know. Do you think that's a doable or viable business model?
If there are enough white people,
Oh, there are. This is Fort Lauderdale. This is
then I think that you have a solid business model. If you have enough white people,
All right.
that's my caveat.
This is my dream, and I'm a guy from Brooklyn, but again, I married somebody from the Columbus area. I got exposed to both Skyline and Graders early on in my life, and that's it. So, Carlos, anything else coming up in your world? Anything to promote? What?
I would say not necessarily promote, but I contributed to a new permanent exhibit inside the Freedom Tower. Now, the Freedom Tower was Miami's first skyscraper. It's turns 100 years old this year, and it underwent a 2-year, $25 million restoration, and it reopened with this new exhibit called Liberty. And it basically tells the story of how this place, this kind of old shell of a building, became an outreach center to this wave of Cuban immigrants, and how really the U.S. government reached out to these families. Like, you give them, there was food, there was medical service, there was job services, there was relocation to here and other parts of the country. And it was really like a credit to
Seems like a different country.
Right. It seems like a real credit to embracing immigration. And this new exhibit is incredibly immersive, digital displays, interactive, historical photos. Plus, they've renovated the inside to look kind of like the building at its peak. And I think it's going to be one of the biggest new attractions in Miami. And I was lucky enough to tell some of those immigrant stories. And so you can hear my voice
you do
throughout the
voiceover.
exhibit.
You have very mellifluous tones, so that's
great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
so
when
I'm
does this
excited about
exhibit
that.
open to the public? It's
It opens Friday with guided tours, like timed guided tours, and then it'll open fully October 15th.
and how long is that going to be running until?
It is a part of the permanent exhibit.
Oh,
It'll be
great.
there,
Okay. And is there
for the
any
foreseeable future.
entrance fee, or is it a donation? How does that work?
I don't know what the entrance fee is right
Okay,
now because since it hasn't opened yet, I didn't get that information. And again, I was more contributing to it. I don't have a dog in the fight other than it was cool to be asked to be part
That's
of,
excellent. Yeah.
to voice the exhibit and to contribute stories to it, which was a great. And we got to meet a lot of folks who are still living today and tell their stories, who came through the Freedom Tower, and also folks who are not Cuban and who came to Miami from different parts of the world and telling their immigration story. Right. So it's the stories of immigration that ties together that exhibit.
We all come from somewhere else, except I guess the Miccosukees and even the Seminoles came from Oklahoma. They weren't here originally in Florida, so
right.
the Questa tribe was. So, I think illuminating and eye opening to realize about the immigrant experience. So kudos to you. I do have one Freedom Tower, man, and this was weird. The only time I was in there, do you know, Carlos, when I was a news columnist for the Sun Sentinel, on the occasion of Celia Cruz's passing.
I knew you were going to say that.
God, I was shocked because I went down there. They had kind of a viewing of all her fans. Oh, and my God, they were lining up for literally blocks and blocks.
Tens of thousands.
It was like the Pope had died, and like what the spectacle in Rome, in the Vatican, when when the latest Pope died, and it just was. I was shocked about how moved so many people, and mainly Cubans, were about Celia Cruz. Were you there for that at all, or because it was?
I wasn't. It was inside the thing, and I've only I think that shows the tiny age gap between you and me. I think I was just young enough to where I missed that. But I do have friends my age who went with their parents, and waited in line to see her lying in state. Before they took her to be buried. I believe she's buried in New York, and she lived, she was never really a Miami resident, so to speak, but because Miami has such a strong Cuban diaspora, there's always been a strong connection.
It was really shocking to me and eye-opening because I am the white guy from Broward, but it was
and that's contained, part of that story is contained in that exhibit as well, because it really shows like the full breadth of kind of how it became this kind of symbol for immigrants and how it started with the Cuban migration.
Good stuff. All right. Well, keep writing and keep eating, my friend. I'm glad that you were able to stop by and catch up today.
Thank you for having me. Great seeing you, Lubie. Great seeing you, Mike.
Seeing you, sir.
Sorry you didn't get to enjoy an Italian sandwich for yourself. I could have told you then what the theme of the day was. And
I would have driven to the local Arby's. I have one right here.
And I've got the other half of this. Usually I only eat a half of the half because it's so big, but I did get my workout. First time back in the gym since my bout with COVID. So it's like a 9-day gap from the gym. And I was just famished when I got to the show today. So I downed that half thanks to Gail and Harry, even though I paid for it, but that's okay. Thanks for doing what they
do. Yeah, they do a great job.
Yeah, I didn't schnorr this one, Lubie. You should give me a gold star or something. All right, you can catch Carlos Diaz's work around, whether it's Bon Appetit magazine, the New York Times, and you can see his bylines occasionally in the Let's Eat South Florida group. Thank you so much, Carlos. Lubie, we'll see you tomorrow. We're in doubt as far as our remote show tomorrow, so I got to scramble again because where I thought we were going to be, we're not going to be. We might be setting a record for home shows, but we're getting through it. We're getting some good discussions and content and all that. So until tomorrow, enjoy even if it's an Arby's, enjoy every sandwich.